Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Beardlib Editor tutorial. In this episode we're going to be going over multiple things. We're going over environments, how to change that, we're going over lighting, and we're going to be going over environmental sound effects. Alright, all that can be handled within this environment tab right here. We can spawn effects, environment areas. Only thing that can't be handled is spawning lights. Actually, you can build projection lights. Oh, that's not the right thing. It's not what I'm thinking of. So, to start off, I'm going to start off with the environment and how to build that. To do that, you go to this world icon right here, and you can see all this crazy stuff in here. Bunch of different options. I'll go over a couple of important ones, but for the most part, you can go through, fiddle with this stuff, figure out what does what. Alright. So, I'm going to go over the basic ones. So we got the sun. If I change that, it just changes the sun. So that sun right there changes the color of it. I can change the intensity of it. And voila. Fog. Fog is used. As you can see, if I decrease the range, fog starts coming in. If I change it to purple, got purple fog. Pretty self-explanatory. If I do it like this, change it to purple again, there you go, purple fog. Very simple stuff. I'm just going to reset that to what it was. Sky dome light, color from the top changes to that. And color on the bottom changes to that. You might say, well, that didn't change anything. It actually does. It changes it from the bottom. So everything that it sees on the bottom right here changes to this color. And everything on the top changes to this color. Ambient light. Don't really know. I think it just affects... There's like a slight tinge that it gets when you fiddle with this. Bloom, I don't really touch bloom. Sky, this one's pretty important if you want to change the color of the sky. So we got this blue tinge, but it doesn't match the skybox. So to change that, we can just put a nice blue like that. Now, I wasn't really good at color matching, but you can see what it does. It changes the top of the color. Now to do the low, we can do something like boom, and it changes the bottom of the skybox. What if I want a different skybox? We use this underlay texture or this sky texture. Why there's two, I don't really know. But we can go into here and be like, why is this one? If I click this to default. I was testing this out earlier and it had a bunch of different options. But anyways, you could change the texture right like that. Or if you go into sky texture, you can go... Some of these crash, so I gotta be very careful. Sky cloudy, you can do that. Or a nice fun one that I found, because it gets every single texture in the map. Fun one that I found was called Dev Diary. There you go. Hello, whoever you are. So you can do that. We got a cube map. A cube map is the reflections that you see in this right here. So you see this is just a very basic one. I won't be touching this because again it can crash sometimes. World overlay textures and world overlay mask. Don't really know. They're not really used. I think they're used in two heists. One of which is the new border crossing heist. So they have a unit and they just overlay a texture on top of the unit instead of the unit having a texture. So it's an easy way to change the texture with between environments instead of changing the whole model. Shadows, don't really use this too much. Don't really know what it does. But yeah, so there you go. And if you always want to reset, you can always just click that. But if you don't want to reset, say, do all these changes, wow, it's super nice, super bright. We go into the level. Forgot to turn off sound. Go into the level. But you might notice instantly the environment doesn't save. If I press tab, see, it saves. Ignore that. I think that's not supposed to be there because it's not actually. Oh, it is there. Anyways, so the lighting doesn't save. So how do I save this lighting? Use this button called include current. So if I do this and I name it to whatever I want, test environment, hit apply. There you go, saved environment map, test video, levels, tutorial map, environments, test environment, environment. This text right here is very important. Either you can copy that text down, you can just take a screenshot of it, which I'm going to do. And such. There you go, took a screenshot. So close that. What you do with this is you go to this W tab, environment. You can see right here, I browse this environment. It does show up there, but sometimes it doesn't. Alright, so you can click this, and it's there. Boom. Oh, I know why it doesn't show up. It always shows up here, but if you use spawn environment areas. So, to spawn environment area, just click spawn environment area. You can click it, browse environments. Why am I wrong about this? Oh, it's because there's an element that I use sometimes called dynamic environment, which can change the environment of the level on the fly. We use it in the zombies game mode. When you're using that, it doesn't have this drop down list. You gotta manually type it in just like this. So you have to kind of memorize environments. So that's why I always keep pictures. But for now, we don't have to worry about that. You can either change the environment here, which it will be loaded, or an environment area, which again you can spawn by clicking on this. You can set up the environment area and just put default. Alright, so with this environment area, we can select what it changes. So if you want it to only change the sky texture path, aka this, when you walk into this, it'll only change this and everything else will stay the same. If I were to do this, of course I don't want to, I just want to change it, keep it on default, and voila. So to change the shape, we come down to the shape area. We can do something like this. There you go. So now it's all much bigger. I'm going to put it right over top of this cop car so that I know where it is when I'm in the level. So we know that, and we know that we have these things up here. So we have these names. The environments don't really need names. I've never had a use for them, but you can always name them right here just to know what is what. Fade time, so when you walk into this area, how long it takes to fade from one environment to the other. It's usually good to have just a decent amount of time. Priority, I think that's what that means. It's 100%. I don't really know. I don't really touch that, nor do I touch this permanent thing. I think the permanent, when you walk into it, it'll keep it there forever, but I'm not too sure. Now, if I go into the level, see, it's all super bright because it's now in this default right here. And if I walk into this area, you see it changes the lighting. And boom, there it is. I think this doesn't change the global texture or the underlay path. Yeah. So if I change these, I walk in, it probably didn't save, but voila, that's how you do that. That's how you handle environment areas and environments. So just gotta remember, include current, So if I change it, I think you might be only able to include one at a time. Anyways, include current, put it into the environment tab, or put it into an environment area. And you can easily change it. So that's how you do environment areas. I will now be showing how to do the other things that I talked about. So, from the environment tab, we can do a couple things. Spawn effect, browse effects, we can do a bunch of stuff in here. Let's say snow effect. Whoosh, it's all snowy in this area. Alright, so this is how they do, generally, how they do snow in levels. You can do slower snow, you can do snow impact, which I think is very small. Of course, this takes every single effect in the game, so sometimes they're not really needed, like this flashlight. That's useless, you don't want that. I mean, maybe you do. Maybe you want drill jammed smoke. But yeah, it takes every single effect in the map, or in the game. Everything to mega mask effects to fire. Let's do some fire though. So we got a light little fire. So there's two ways you can do it with this box thing here. There is also an effect thing right here, which you can do similar thing right there. And this is used if you want it to, this is always active, the environment area. I think this is always active, it can't be deactivated. And this one, if you execute it, it's executed, of course, starts the fire, and we can set it up to this and go boop, and it stops. So if you want effects to be dynamic, better use this. If you want them to be stagnant, use this. I use this about 99% of the time because I think it's easier and cleaner, because you can do a bunch of nice things down here and stop the effects, start the effects, whatever you want. But there is always this option. There is also within here, where is it? Oh, it's in sound. Right. So we do these sound environments. This area, if we walk into it, it'll change the sound. So in here, we have some things like outdoor medium, big city, occasional silent. So if I turn up the sound, start the level, let's just get over to the sound area. Where did I put it? Yeah. So this sound area, if I select it, I can do a bunch of stuff. I can do like an airplane, big city, hospital. Am I in the area yet? Where's the area? It's to the left of this. See, I walked into the area, it sounds different. Echoey, no longer echoey. So this just changes the like environment sounds, right? So if I do acoustics flat, a little different, outdoor small, a little different. Usually these do little sound effects in the background, but they don't seem to be working. Maybe it's a music? No. Usually this does stuff. Huh. Interesting why that's not working right now, but if you want stuff like crows in the background, you use this stuff or this stuff. Environment area just changes it so if you walk into a place, you can change it so it's a lot more, as you could heard, a lot more less of a echo. Using sound environments for that. What's also in these, we could do sound emitters. Just spawn it right on this fire and choose the event. So type in fire small. Now if I walk towards the fire, you can hear the sound of the fire burning. Just like that. This is used generally if you want just like sounds dynamically in your level. It's very subtle, but it adds a little bit more of a feeling to your map instead of this empty, bare thing. Alright. What's also in here is sound area emitters, which I think is the same thing, but just if you enter the sound, you hear it. Yeah. So that's how you do it from this, and again, just like the environments, there is also an element. This one though, you might be able to tell, you gotta type it in. So if you go look up a Payday 2 Poco Rose sound ID, you can find this. Let me see if I can find it. Payday 2 sound IDs. Yeah. So if you just look up Payday 2 sound IDs, you can get to a spreadsheet. On that spreadsheet has all the different sounds. Let's look at one of them. It's called G01 for heisters. Do G01. Let's walk to the area. Oh, there it is. Right there. Hit it. Nothing happens. Hold up. Let me get special unit. Let's do shield identification. There you go. There you go. So you can play sounds just like that. But as I tried earlier, I tried to do a heister voice line. And you might be wondering how to do those heister voice lines. We use this teammate comment command. This one though, it's a lot better. You can see all the IDs here. For things like you can see, die. These probably only work on Diamond, the Slaughterhouse, all those sort of maps. These generic ones like V, P, G, these work for the most part on every map. Again, you can refer to the Payday 2 voice line ID spreadsheet and look at what does what. So again, if I use, I like this one, G29, 29, just like that. You can either use whoever's closest to the element. You can use instigator. So if you walk into an area element, no matter if somebody's closer or not, if you were the first one into it, you will use this. And there you go. I just say stuff. This test robber ID, I think it just changes it. So if I do like that. Oh, wait. I don't really use this, but I think it just changes the robber that it is. Again, I don't use it. Radius, I don't even know what that does. What does it say? Sets a distance to use with a check. So if I do like 500. So if you're within 500, it'll say something. If I do 100. 100 away, doesn't say anything. Close to it. There you go. So I think that's what the radius does. If you're close to it, it works. Otherwise, it doesn't. So that's how you do the teammate commands for AI, other players, anything. Play sounds is how you do sound effects of any kind, or you can use the sound emitters. What else is there? Environments, I did sounds. And let me just look at my list quickly. This is super organized, I know. Right, alright, lighting. So, if you just look up light, there's a couple default ones. There is this light omni thing right here. And there is also one, it's not here. But yeah, light omni, shadow projection. Using these things, they're all editor units, so to see them you have to have editor units on. There's two types of lights that I like to use. There's one called light omni right here, and there is also one called light spot right here. If I load that, a light spot. So what I'm going to be showing you here is the differences between the two and how to do the lighting. I'm going to bring this all the way over here as a demonstration. Alright, so if you know what omni means and spot means, this will help it out, but omni means omnidirectional, which means in any direction. So as you can see, goes on this floor, but the spotlight does not. If I increase the far range, you'll see it does not. It only hits the floor or the direction that it's facing, like that. So with this is used to just fill up rooms. Usually I can change the far range to increase the thing. I can change the light color. I can change, the intensity. Using these, they all have different values for how intense it is. And I can also change the fall off. That's not really used though. I can do all these things and change the lighting of the map. So that's how you do that. And with the light spot, same settings for the most part, except there's one different thing right down here. Is this texture. See this thing? It looks pretty gross. Usually after a restart, it's usually more round and looks similar to this. But when you first put it in, it will look like this. It looks really weird. But you can change it in here and go like, hey, I want to use, where is it? Big bank overhead. So you see the big bank overhead. I can go put it up like this. If I increase the far range, there you go, like that. If I do debug also, it can show the range, the circle, and I can change the angles like that. And I can change the fall off. Doesn't seem to be affecting stuff. Anyways, as you can see, this will also affect the player. It'll pop up in your gun, all that sort of stuff. Page 2 is not good enough, so it doesn't have dynamic lighting in terms of this. But it does the same thing for this one. And debug, same thing here. Check it out like that. So that's how you do the two different kinds of lighting. Ooh. I think this also just pulls any texture from the game. But yeah, this is how you do this lighting, and this is how you do the omnidirectional lighting. Very useful for lighting up your map. Anyways, this was a little bit of a mess. I kind of just did this on a whim. But hope you enjoyed, hope it helped. See you in the next episode.